Okay, so here I have Victoria. Victoria is going to work out problem number 2. Problem number 2 requires you guys to look at scale factors and multiplication, and she's going to show you how she solved it. She got problem number 2 right, which I know a lot of you didn't, so today's a good review for you guys to kind of see how she solved it. Just like any other video, if you have any questions, go ahead and email me or ask me during class. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Sometimes these videos don't come out how we plan them, but nevertheless, it is great for the kids that come up here to solve these on their own. And they might make a calculation mistake, and you catch it at home, which is perfect because that's exactly what should be happening. If you see anything that is incorrect and you can spot it, that's also a learning. That's also a learning tool. Okay, so without further ado, problem number 2 with Victoria.
So we're gonna start on problem number 2. So this is how it's gonna be. It's gonna be like this. Let's see if I can do it. So the bottom is gonna be 16 centimeters, and 20 centimeters right here. Back's gonna be 12 centimeters. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be multiplying by 0.4. So what we do first is we're gonna be doing 16 times 0.4. So it's gonna be 24, and it's gonna be 6. So what we're gonna do is, so we're gonna be getting 64.64 on that one. It's gonna be 0.64 for the first one. And, well, it's not gonna be the first one, but we're gonna do 20 times 0.4 now. So it's gonna be 0, and it's gonna be 8. So we're going to do double 0. So that's going to be 0.80. And then we're going to be doing 12 times 0.4. It's the same procedure again and again, it's just with a different number we do by 0.4. And so we're going to be doing 8. So it's going to be 0.48, of course. 0.48. 0.48. And then we're going to put them in order. It's going to go 0.48 first.
Now, while Victoria finishes those calculations, one of the things that she's doing in reference to scale factor is each side gets either divided or multiplied by a certain number. That scale factor is what shrinks or enlarges the figure, depending on what the problem requires you to do. Scale factor is seen everywhere. Like when you look at Hot Wheels, you know, a Hot Wheels is like a mini version of a larger car. That is all it has to do with scale factor. Barbies, you know, for those of you girls, you look at smaller models of what could be, I guess, you know, regular people, and everything shrinks and enlarges in proportion. So I think, did we fix the calculation error?
Yes.
If you look at every side that Victoria did was actually shrunk by 0.4 as your scale factor. So if the number is less than 1, obviously the figure is going to be reduced. If the number is greater than 1, the number is going to enlarge, right? If you multiply something times 2, it'll get double its size. If you multiply it times 1, guess what's going to happen? It'll stay the same. So this is another way to solve for scale factor. Again, she did every single side. So if you were to actually draw this figure, should it be smaller or should it be bigger? Look at the dimensions. 6.4. This one was what?
It's just 8.
This one's just 8, and this one was 4.8. So every dimension is smaller, so the figure would the next figure would be smaller.
It's kind of like half of it, but not entirely.
Yeah, it's kind of like half of it, and that's actually interesting that she says half of it, because if the scale factor is 0.4, well, what is half? What is half equal to as a decimal? 0.5. So that's why each dimension is almost cut in half. But, we're used to seeing it this way, that we don't see it,
That way.
this way. But as a decimal, it kind of represents the same thing. Does that make sense? If you were to turn,
And how I got 0.4, it said right here, if the triangle is reduced using a scale factor of 0.4, what will the dimensions of the new triangle be? So I used 0.4 and multiplied it by each number to get my answer.
okay, and 0.4 as a fraction would be 2/5. So each dimension, or each side got reduced by how much?
By at least
2/5.
2/5.
Does that make sense? So I hope this video helped you and illustrated the scale factor. And again, if you have any questions, email me.